Alright, so today I'm doing a bit of art, and my setup is horrible, so bear with me. Um, I drew this on Halloween, and I've been processing a lot with my grief, with my past, with my trauma, and with everything. So I started out drawing this person, this creature. All my art is very emotionally infused, and to some extent it is a reflection of myself. I consider all my artwork to be self-portraits, even though of course it looks nothing like me. So anyways, in our past, we were not allowed to celebrate Halloween. Halloween was seen as something evil, something wrong, something of the devil, and so it was very much not permitted. There was a lot of holidays that we didn't celebrate, whether we chose not to or we celebrated it in a different manner than other people. I mean, that's, neither here nor there, but Halloween specifically was something, the ghouls and the celebrating. What I always liked about it was it's a celebration of uniqueness and a chance where you could be a child even as an adult. You can live in that fantasy realm. And fantasy is a great way to escape when your reality is not ideal. So Halloween was always something that very much appealed to me. And I know for most people it's just a basic holiday and, people dress up and it's candy and all that. But for me, coming from a cult where I felt oppressed, and we were oppressed, and we were essentially used as child slave labor, and so thus the chains and that feeling of being bound and being trapped within that reality. And so Halloween was a celebration of that liberation from it, of that freedom from it. And so yeah, I've always absolutely loved Halloween, especially since being out of the cult, but I've never gone trick-or-treating. It's on my bucket list. I don't care how old I am. If you see an old grandma-ish lady showing up, I will be in absolute full costume, head to toe, but yeah, who knows? I don't know. This year I wasn't able to dress up, for other reasons. But yeah, so as life went on and as I came into my knowledge of the world and understanding things and realizing all the depth of the pain and the hurt and the emotional and physical traumas that happened, it is a very stark realization. Starting to understand the things that were done to us, the pains that were done to us, that growing up didn't seem quite so problematic because it just was normal. And as I left the cult and did my own processing on everything, I started to realize, and just the hurts, the things that were wrong, the twisted aspects, the injuries that are seen and unseen, just the traumas, and it is reflected here in actual wounds and such. But yeah, the reality is most scarring from trauma is something you can't see. It's not a physical pain that's visible. I've spoken before about depression, where depression it's invisible. People don't see it, but it's real. It's just as real as actual scars and actual physical injuries, because your brain, your psyche is traumatized and is injured. And so that is where this is what I'm trying to reflect in my artwork. And again, I draw more for an emotional feel as opposed to perfection. And honestly, with this gal, okay, real quick aside, ADHD moment, I really wanted her arms to be like excessively large, and I failed at that. The biceps are a little more elongated than I typically draw them, but the arms, I was kind of picturing sort of a homunculi type, if you've ever watched the, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my God, my brain fart. The Brotherhood, Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah. Anyways, Brotherhood. Yeah. The homunculi, there are some that have these really like distorted body figures, and I kind of wanted to do that. And my distortion, it's definitely distorted. It's not a perfectly balanced art piece, but yeah, the distortions, I definitely could have gone more dramatic. So that's my own art critique here. Along with other things. And the hand, I hate that hand on the left, that claw thing, I hate it. But anyways, again, I've never taken art classes, so cut me some slack. So as I add the color in here, the color is meant to represent sort of finding myself, finding these bits and pieces, and it's disjointed. Colors overlap in a peculiar way, and yes, I say the word peculiar oddly. But anyways, it's, you know, coming into my own, figuring out who the fuck I am post-cult, finding that inner, I don't know, spirit, joy, sparkle, color, you know, finding that life inside me after our past and after our experiences in the cult and in trauma. And again, I reference the cult because that's my own personal trauma. But people come from so many different walks of life that experience so many different traumas that it's, you know, the cult is just a very extreme example of things that happen on a much smaller scale in everyday life. And there's so many people that are regularly affected by this. So this is not exclusive to the cult. And anyways, I did try to portray this level of determination within this anguished human. This person is clearly unwell. But, you know, they've broken their chains and they are liberated, yet still haunted by all the past and the harm. But yet the color just keeps coming and the life from within just keeps coming. And, you know, when you have that determination, that I don't give a fuck what horrible shit happened to me, I'm going to just keep going. That's it. And it might not look pretty. It might look like a whole fuckery, like this drawing, but you're going to keep pushing forward. And yes, you might be an oddball in the crowd. You might stand out, and you might be very different from everyone else around you, but you're going to keep going. And that's honestly all you can really do unless you quit. And my big goal is that hopefully people will choose to keep going and not quit, because I wish so much that Jordan had made that choice, that my brother had made that choice, that my cousin had made that choice, that so many others had made that choice to just keep pushing forward and find all the disjointed little bits of life that are inside them and just pull them together and just keep one step in front of the other. And it's really fucking hard, but it's worth it. It has to be worth it. I don't know. Anyways, I went off on a little tangent there and lost my train of thought. But yeah, so I'm drawing. That's what's happening. And yeah, this segment here is meant to reflect finding my color, finding my true self, finding it doesn't obliterate the past, it doesn't obliterate the scars, but it does soften them a bit. Time doesn't heal the wounds, but it does make it easier to walk with them. You acclimate to having them be a part of you, but they're never fully gone. They always leave an imprint on you, and it affects who you are and how you adjust to life and how you cope with life. We don't have control over the things that happen to us. We don't. I mean, some things, sure, but a lot of life we don't have control over. What we do have control over is how we respond and how we interact with life, and how that's the part that we have control. And my whole shoulder is in front of the art. I need to work on a better setup, but oh well. That is my shoulder. And it's a wonderful shoulder. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I need to work better on this filmography stuff. Any of my friends out there that can give me some pointers on setups, especially setting up on top of your pillow for a camera, that would be super helpful and useful. So I'm guessing about at this point is usually when people drop off my channel. So this is the time when I can talk about all the bad stuff. No. Anyways, so yeah, I continue with my artwork here. I have, oh my goodness, 6 more minutes of just yammering to do, and my whole shoulder is in front of this whole fucking piece. Oh my goodness, why did I not notice this? Okay, so I'm going to crack myself up a bit here. You know, this is something I do when I'm drawing typically. Now, because I was doing a time lapse, I just kept drawing. However, I will very often pause, take a step back, and critique and look at shit and just be like, what the fuck am I thinking? Why am I overlapping certain colors? Like in this one, I very regularly overlap pink and orange. I don't know why pink and orange were just really catching my eye, and the overlapping of the two, I was just really, really enjoying that color combo in this particular piece. And so I do it in the arm, I do it on the leg, I think I do it a bit in the hair too. I think I even add some yellow into her stomach. I don't remember. I actually wanted to, and I think I forced myself not to, because I'm like, that's too much orange and yellow. But like, I never really have a set plan. I just kind of start doing stuff and going, and the colors, to me, colors emote so much. And color for me represents joy and shadows and sadness and anger and hurt and just so many different things, and it's all in how it's placed. And hopefully for other people, when you can actually see this picture, oh my goodness, I really should have been checking my positioning. Okay, so hopefully some people can look at this and see some form of reflection in themselves, something that they can connect to, something that draws the eye, something that, you know, maybe you have your own processes, your own things that affect you. And because as much as this channel is just a visual online video diary for myself, I really do want to connect with other people, and how other people hopefully feel a little less alone, that there are others who are feeling rough, who are feeling overwhelmed, who are like, you're just never as alone as you think you are. And whatever traumas you came from, there are other people who get it in their own way. Of course, everyone's experience is a little different. All the disclaimers and everything. But there are people who understand. There are people who have been there. There are people who, you know, experience some shit. And this hair is very reflective of me in the morning, especially if I brush it. It just goes out in all the directions. Oh my God. Yeah, I do actually, I really like how I do the hair on this one, even though that light is basically blurring half the head. That's really disappointing. But yeah, I kind of like the wild cave woman hair. It reminds me of my hair. Yeah, okay, I'm out of things to say. So, yeah. This is the art piece. God, I should have shortened this a little bit. And I feel like I should re-record. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of little detail work, and oh my goodness, there's 2 minutes left, y'all. Anyways, okay, so since no one watches this far, anyways, so I do get to the end, and it doesn't take a whole lot of time, so I may as well talk about the ending part. Very soon, I will start adding more hair, and this time it will be black hair. Once I have all my art tends to start pretty colorful, and then I start adding black, and the black adds a lot more depth, And it's not just an artistic choice. Black, so I say rainbow and black to me represents love, because love is both the most beautiful thing you'll experience and also the most torturous thing you'll experience. And that's my dog scratching her neck. And yeah, so I reflect love in black and rainbows, and that is why I draw this way, ever since losing Jordan. And so while this person has been liberated from her past, she is still, in her mind, shackled because of depression, because of suicidal ideation, because of losing the love of her life to suicide. And when I say her, it is meant to represent me, but it could represent, hopefully, other people, not just my own crazy mind. And so this hair becomes increasingly black. It's this dark, overshadowing. His first Halloween that he was gone, I dressed up as him by pulling a black sheet over my head. I was Jordan's ghost. I thought it was great, dark humor, and it was all I could muster. I just sat on the couch watching horror flicks and randomly pulling the sheet over my head, because Jordan would never be a white sheet ghost. He would be a black sheet ghost, because, yes, that's just who he was. So this is my forever depressed, sort of homunculi-inspired person. And yeah, and the lighting is shit.